Hey, welcome back to a new video. It's annoying, right? And frankly, it's quite insane, the fact that my hand is moving involuntarily without my consent. So by that same logic, if your thoughts, if your mind is wandering without your consent involuntarily, isn't that bordering insanity? I mean, and for example, if you are in a difficult situation and your arms, which are supposed to protect you, they are punching you, is that not a big disaster? And now this is just the arm. Now imagine your mind, which is the CEO of this organization. If that is not in your control and is not taking instructions from you, do you really think that is a good way to live your life? So I wanted to talk a little bit about how our mind pays attention and is sometimes not able to pay attention, and just work a little bit on how the mind works basically. So we need to go back again into our evolutionary roots. So as you know, we have evolved from primates to human beings, from apes to human beings. So there are two very prominent traits of any primate, of any ape. Number one, restlessness, and number two is imitation. So imitation, we'll speak about that in some other video. In this one, I wanted to focus a little bit about restless. You will never ever see a monkey just hanging around in the branches, just sitting calmly. Very unlike, say, a tiger, like a cat, that is just calm and chill. A monkey is always jumping from one branch to the other. If it's not doing that, it's playing around, it's scratching, it's doing something, it's always doing something, because that is the innate, the default setting of all primates. There is almost there is restlessness in the body and mind. So now as we have evolved, physically we have stopped that restlessness. That's why our arms and legs are not moving involuntarily without our control. But the mind is still young. Understand, the mind is still very young, and that default setting of restlessness, it's still very prominent. It is very easy, it is very natural for anything to take up our attention. Even a small thought, it will just go. So from a scientific perspective, I'll just try to explain this as easily as possible. So the main thing, dopamine is the reward giving center. It manages the rewards basically in our body. So let's take an example. For example, if you are working on a work project, so whenever you are working on anything, so the higher brain, the top part of the brain, there is something called as working memory. So as you know, our brain is like a sponge. It just keeps taking information from the time you are born till today. Everything, there is only addition and multiplication, there is no subtraction and division. So there is everything inside this brain. It's like a computer. But for the task at hand, you need, for example, in this case, for the work situation, you need certain thoughts, certain things, and so there is almost like a gate which separates all the information from the current requirements, the current information that you need, and which is called the working memory. So if the working memory, if the current project that you're working on, the task you're working on is stimulating enough, there is a steady release of dopamine dopamine by the dopamine neurons, and that's fine. But if the dopamine levels the task does not meet the dopamine levels, then automatically the working memory, the gate that protects the working memory, it goes wide open, and now you can, any thought, any external stimuli, any new information can enter into the working memory to grab your attention and release dopamine. So then if you have any, say, a startling thought or a notification from Instagram or WhatsApp, or if there's nothing external, then you just maybe your mind makes up, say, starts daydreaming, and it gets its addiction sorted. It gets the dopamine hit. So what happens is, what is happening right now is that we have given this restless monkey mind steroids. Basically, there is so much stimulation when you go to shopping malls, or whether you are on social media or anything. Everything is like just trying to grab your attention. Ah, look at me, look at this, look at this, look at this. So because of this, our dopamine threshold has gone up. And for example, social media companies, first there were long videos, then there were small videos, now there are 10-second reels. So every 10 seconds the body is getting used to a dopamine hit every 10 seconds. Every time you are seeing a 10-second video, it's getting an instant hit. And even everything else, like, if you want to watch any movie, if you want to eat some, say, Chinese food, you can instantly. There's so much convenience around us right now that we are used to getting anything that we want immediately, and that takes a toll on our dopamine thresholds. It keeps going up all the time. So just like, say for example, maybe when you started drinking, one drink would do the job for you and you would get drunk. Now 2 drinks, 3 drinks, 4 drinks. So every time an addiction, it always keeps going up, and it's the same with dopamine as well. So every time your body is going to need a little more stimulation, a little more stimulation. So and the companies, the Instagram companies, these guys know that. So for example, nowadays they will just send XYZ has added to their story, ping, and that's it. That's just the little provocation your mind needs, and immediately the gate gets wide open and you are attracted to that information, to that new piece of information, and you get diverted. Now this is fine. So in the evolutionary terms of thing, this was a very important function. The dopamine, it ensured perpetuity of nature. Basically, it kept us finding new mates. It helped us maybe find new food, new areas and stuff like that, and it kept stimulating us to expand our boundaries. But right now it has happened so much that we are constantly chasing carrots, or we are running away from sticks. So that is, the present moment is just never good enough. We are so used to stimulation, that we are always moving out of the present moment and chasing something. We are chasing a future scenario, or we are running away from a threat, and we are almost like a hamster on the wheel. You are always running, and there is just simply no end to it. If you get $1 million, you want $2 million, you want $5 million, you want $10 million. The point is, it is just a never ending cycle. And you can imagine, so now the next generation, which is growing up on social media, now they are so used to it, and their thresholds are getting so high that it is just difficult to sustain their attention on things that really matter. On, for example, say big life projects, such as, say, climate change, global warming, tackling global warming. It is not going to happen overnight. It requires sustained effort, dedication, patience, attention. Creativity always comes from attention. So if they are not able to sustain their attention on a certain thing, then solving problems will become very difficult. Like it will really be difficult for a true genius to come up. So yeah, so does that mean that social media or any of these stimulations, comforts, are bad? No, it's like if you do excess of anything, if you do anything unconsciously, then it becomes bad. Now a car is not bad, but if you give the car to a drunk person, then it is dangerous. A knife is not bad, it's a good thing. But if you give a knife to a young kid, then it becomes dangerous. So understand and acknowledge that difference. And the thing with the generation is that once the spiral starts going down, it goes spiraling down, and it gets passed, and the trait becomes prominent from one generation to the next. it is just going to spiral inwards and inwards, and it is just wrong for the whole of humanity, you know, and for the whole of the planet basically. So the problem is not with positive events and negative events. The real thing is about the neutral events. Positive events, we will enjoy those. Negative events, we will run away from those. But the real task, the real challenge is being in the moment during the neutral events, because during the neutral events the dopamine levels are not sustained, and you get dragged out of it. So the best way is, you know, that's the whole point of meditation. You sit down, you sit with yourself, you reduce the stimulations, and you simply sit your body and mind. You're almost training them, you're restoring the natural order of the dopamine levels. So yeah, I would suggest you start meditating. If you don't have time to meditate, I have a small homework assignment for you. So you can start by, you know, mindfully doing a trivial task. Mindful basically means that your mind is not full, it's actually empty. There's just whatever is needed to perform the activity in the current moment. That is all the focus of your attention. For example, if you're, say, washing your dishes, can you give 100% attention to washing your dishes, to completely being involved in the moment? Because when you're washing your dishes, there is no real need for you to think, you know, that is just a mind pattern, that's just the addiction. Thinking is an addiction. So and thinking is basically fueling the underlying emotion. So try to be in the moment and do it mindfully. Try to be conscious of your mind thoughts, of your mind patterns that are occurring, and whenever you are noticing them, smile at them, acknowledge them, and simply come back. It is these neutral situations that you need to overcome. So try to do this, maybe with your dishes or any household chores, or maybe you're doing the grocery. Can you be completely present in the moment and give your 100% attention? And if your mind is wandering, simply bring it back, be aware of the thought patterns, and simply bring it back. Hopefully with this information you understand what is happening. Once you understand something, your intention becomes much better, because now you know what is happening, why it's happening, and then automatically you can take actions towards improving this. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching this, and I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao.